Okay, let's continue our lesson. This is a lesson on ClaimCast. This is also from Gary and Glennis Hoffman's Audio Strunk and White, just a handbook, the one we looked at for the new academic essay. Okay, but what we're doing here is I want to look specifically, and we will have our essay prompt for number 2. I will open that on Monday. Okay, like I said, we had our essay due this week. Didn't want to bombard you with too much. But before we get to that, I want to look at this idea here of ClaimCast. Okay, this will be kind of a quick lesson. I'm just going to go over the resemblance claim and evaluation claim. These are specific terms that you will need to know for our second essay. Okay, so let's start here. After inductively or deductively analyzing a subject, which we've gone over extensively, an essay writer expresses a claim to begin organizing results of the analysis. A claim can also refer to as a hypothesis, conclusion, major premise. I also like to use the word, this is me speaking, purpose. All alternative labels for thesis. Okay, and I will often, in your commentary on your essays, use thesis and purpose interchangeably. It's something to keep in mind. Okay. So there are 5 major types of claims according to Hoffman here, and this is what we're going to discuss today. Resemblance, evaluation, including refutation claim, definition, causal, and proposal. They can be used separately, but many essayists chain several claims together for reinforcement. For the sake of this unit and this lesson, I'm going to focus on resemblance claim and evaluation claim. And in essence, you have already done an evaluation claim. I will not hold you to task for specifically what we've gone over here, but in our exploration of Las Meninas, we have built a evaluation claim. Okay, and in my opinion, and as I've said before, that is the crux of critical thinking. How then do you not only share how things are similar, but you also make an evaluation as a critical thinker, critical evaluation. We're going to look at that. First, let's stick with resemblance claim. Resemblance claim to varying extents, a resemblance claim provides important scaffolding for all other claims. Great term there, and I want you to think about this when we think about essay 2. How are you scaffolding, right? Scaffolding is in kind of, no pun intended when we think of panopticon, but scaffolding is the supports or the foundation of a building, right? How do you do that here with your claim? Okay, a resemblance claim establishes a similarity between 2 or more subjects and adds significance to the claim by then contrasting the differences within that similarity. Resemblance claims compare and contrast. Okay, we've all done compare and contrast essays, but I want you to think about resemblance claim as being a compare and contrast on steroids. Okay, next level, compare and contrast. Okay, think about this here. Here's an example that demonstrates why resemblance claims are so important. And this is something that I want to stick with because this is a good example, and I will unpack this just a little bit more here. An appealing quality, and I'm back in the reading here, of one of your friends is that he or she always offers unconditional support no matter what you do. Over time, you begin to take for granted that this unqualified backing is what makes a good friend. However, this quality is brought quickly into sharp focus when comparing and contrasting these attributes to like qualities in another friend, who applauds your moral actions and attitudes, but also offers constructive criticism when you reveal your moral weaknesses. By comparing and contrasting the 2 friends on a similar issue, you initiate a dialogue. Key word there. You are initiating a dialogue that takes place in your mind about supportive friends. Okay, hint, hint, you will be creating a dialogue that has you explore Baldwin's Going to Meet the Man and Jordan Peele's Get Out under the secondary source of how they represent Foucault's panopticon. Okay, this is what we're going to be thinking about here. Both friends offer support, but there is a difference in how and when they express it. An essayist would ask, what differences does this difference make? What does this contract suggest about friends who are supportive? What makes friendship meaningful or helpful or delusional? The conclusion spawned by these questions often become an essay's primary food source. Not to confuse it, we're not writing an essay about friends here, but to make it simpler, if you have a friend that's super supportive, anything you do, whether you sleep in or whatever, or you have that friend that's super supportive in a different way, right? Supportive in the sense that they wake you up if you're late, check you if you're not doing your assignments, etc. Right? And I'm making it obviously from a student perspective. Who then is the better friend there? First, you must create a resemblance claim, right? They're both great friends, but maybe the one friend who checks you is the better friend. You're making an evaluation because ultimately they're doing things for the greater good of your life, etc. Okay, let's return to the reading. Sometimes a resemblance claim forms the guts of an entire essay. Other times a resemblance claim generates details and ideas and then is disassembled after the rough draft. Oh, I have to jump ahead here, of the essay. Other times a claim is a quick flash, a minor presence supporting a major premise. Comparison and contrast are basic critical thinking skills used for analysis of all subjects. Two or more business proposals, evil characters, quarterbacks, Italian restaurants, composition instructors, mosques. Many of the strategies in the form, okay, we'll just kind of, that's from the book here. Let's jump ahead. A resemblance claim argues the differences between two comparable subjects, but usually stops short of overtly expressing a value judgment between the two. One friend always gives me positive support, the other gives me critical advice. Which is a better friend? That is the work of an evaluation claim, and this is key here. This is what you will be asked in your essay to do. Move from resemblance claim to evaluation claim. Now let's talk about what an evaluation claim does. Evaluation claim. This claim builds on a resemblance claim by exploring the implications of the differences between the two friends in the example above. An evaluation begins to emerge. This value judgment is then expressed with a value term. One friend is better, more reliable, more intimate, or less honest, less supportive, and more critical than another. Or the essayist might first establish a criterion. This is an important term that I want to stop with here. Criterion. I'm going to circle my mouse here. If you're taking notes, write that down. That's important. If I was teaching in a classroom, I'd write that on the board. To express what makes a good friend valuable and then argue which friend better meets that criterion. If a good friend is someone who spurs your emotional growth, then the friend who criticizes you would be the better friend. However, if the criterion changes, establishing a good friend as someone who always makes you feel good about yourself, then based on that standard, the first friend would be a better friend. Giving you a little heads up of what the essay will be about, you should build a criterion of what a panopticon is, under the understanding of how Foucault understands the panopticon. Then once you build that criterion, you will build a resemblance claim of Baldwin's short story, Peele's film Get Out, and then you will build an evaluation claim as to which is a stronger representation of Foucault's panopticon. This will not be the last time I talk about building this evaluation claim. I will have a more in-depth understanding of what the prompt asks for, but it'll be you will be doing the groundwork here and establishing these claims along the way. Before we get there, though, we're going to have some reading, watching the film, doing all that stuff, critically analyzing before we start building our claims. Okay? So return to the reading. Evaluation claims flood our intellectual lives, arguing that one architectural design better solves the problem of office space than another, that one president has more leadership qualities than another, that one short story better merges the spiritual with the erotic than another, or based on certain established criteria, an evaluation claim can be formed stating that Robert Crumb is a master cartoonist, Rubio's has superior fish tacos, Eric Romer's My Night at Maud's is a great literary film. In establishing one's criteria, the writer's definition of what constitutes a good friend, or what is meant by the term humanitarian, or when a film is deemed literary, may differ from the reader's interpretation. Okay, this is definition claims further clarify those abstract concepts embedded in the criteria of an evaluation claim. Definition claims is something we will discuss later. But for now, when you establish what a good friend is, or how a work of art is based or represents Foucault's panopticon, that's what we're going to be writing about. This is where the evaluation claim will step in. Which one is a stronger meets the criterion of that concept, if that makes sense. Okay, the criterion of the panopticon. This is what the essay will be about.